Grand Rising, my kings and queens. It's your girl Mell B, live on Lux Radio Network. It's Monday, December 8th. It's a brand new week, and today we rise with purpose and with power. Although I am feeling a little bit under the weather today, y'all not here to just look at me. Y'all here to get y'all info for the day. So Mondays aren't just the start. It's the start of the grind. They're the launch pad of your goals, your dreams, and your breakthroughs. So take a deep breath, set your intentions, and let's step in the day with confidence. Motivational Monday is here to remind you that every challenge is just an opportunity waiting to be claimed. All right, our affirmation for today is I am capable, I am focused, and I have everything I need to conquer this week. Sick and all. All right, our word of the day is pseudonym. A pseudonym is a name that someone uses, like if they're a writer or artist, instead of their real name. It's often to adopt, protect privacy or to create a different persona. Our phrase origin of the day is rage bait, a modern term internet slang phrase that appears online in the early 2000s, originally describing drivers provoking others, later evolving into viral content designed to spark outrage. So rage bait combines rage, which is violent anger, and bait, which is like a lure to lure somebody to do something. So today it refers to posts deliberately crafted to provoke emotional reactions and drive engagement. All right, on to our top news headlines of our cities. So for New York, Wall Street jitters as major financial firms issues cause 2026 economic forecasts. Leading New York banks release final economic outlooks, stressing the impact of federal policy uncertainty and global trade on next year's growth. In LA, Hollywood labor crisis deepens as major studio union contract talks hit new impasse. Key negotiations between the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers and a prominent creative union stall threat new production disruptions. In Chicago, City Council approves $50 million tax initiative package to secure a corporate headquarters relocation. The city officials finalized the deal to attract and retain major companies, hoping to boost downtown business activity and tax revenue. In Atlanta, MARTA expansion secured. Final federal funding approved for critical rail line extension phase. The Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority secures the last round of operations for ambitious regional transit growth plan. In Houston, Energy giants announce a multi-billion-dollar investment in regional clean hydrogen production hub. Multiple Houston-based energy companies publicly commit to a joint venture accelerating development in the clean energy transition sector. And in Washington, D.C., Mayor Bowser announces the resignation of the Metropolitan Police Department's chief, sparking immediate speculation on the future of the city policies and autonomy. Miami. The legislative push aims to solidify Miami's status as a Web3 hub while establishing new rules for asset transparency and licensing regarding the digital asset sector. Tampa, a major local pharmaceutical research company, receives critical regulatory approval, signaling a potential leap in its medical development efforts. And this firm is Biopharma Firm. Tarpon Springs, good morning, Dad. Local officials reject a developer's plan, citing the priority of maintaining the unique culture and architectural integrity of the historic waterfront of Boutique Hotel. Milwaukee, morning, Reed. Manufacturing giant selects Milwaukee for $100 million expansion over out-of-state facilities, creating hundreds of jobs. A major Wisconsin industrial company confirms significant investment in the local production infrastructure. In Jackson, Mississippi, the Jackson's mayor's office provides a critical public update on the slow and costly progress of water facility upgrades. Because the city is having challenges in meeting the EPA deadlines for the federally mandated water system, the overhaul that they're doing. Vancouver, BC government introduces new legislation to impose a flipping tax to curb real estate speculation. The provisional government tables a new measure designed to penalize short-term property resales in a bid to cooling the housing market. Toronto, Ontario commits billions to GTA healthcare infrastructure in new funding announcement. The provisional government unveils its spending plan for new hospitals and long-term care facilities across the greater Toronto area. Bless up, Jamaica. Kingston, Parliament opens debate on supplemental budget prioritizing national debt reduction, The House of Representatives begins discussions on fiscal adjustments focused on paying down the public debt. Montego Bay and Ocho Rios and Negril, they're all having the same issue. Tourism announces stricter environmental and sustainable development guidelines for new resort projects. The government reduces new regulations for coastal construction to protest natural resources along popular tourist areas, which include Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, and Negril. I hope they get it settled soon. Cayman Islands, the government enacts new laws mandating enhanced disclosure of beneficial ownership information for registered entities. The landmark corporation transparency with global anti-money laundering standards. Bahamas, central bank expands pilot program for sand dollar national digital currency, aiming for wider adoption. The official digital currency is moved into an expanded trial phase to encourage greater use by local merchants and consumers. Nigeria, NNPC announces major corporate reconstructing to improve efficiency and attract international oil and gas investments. The state-owned petroleum company reveals an ambiguous overhaul plan to modernize its operations and secure foreign capital. And Ghana, IMF review concludes, signaling progress in fiscal reforms and authorizing release of new tranche of financial bailout. The International Monetary Fund confirms the country's adherence to its debt reconstructing and economic reform program. All right, on to our weather. New York, cloudy with a chance of showers with a high of 47 and a low of 39. Los Angeles will be sunny with a high of 68 and a low of 52. Chicago, cloudy and breezy with a high of 42 and a low of 34. Atlanta, partly sunny with a high of 56 and a low of 44. Houston, mostly sunny with a high of 64 and a low of 52. DC, cloudy with a high of 48 and a low of 40. Miami, scattered showers today with a high of 82 and a low of 74. Tampa, showers are likely with a high of 80 and a low of 72. Tarpon Springs, showers throughout the day, high of 79, low of 72. Milwaukee, cloudy and cold with a high of only 39 and a low of 31. Jackson, Mississippi, partly sunny with a high of 58 and a low of 46. And Vancouver, rain showers throughout the day with a high of 46 and a low of 39. Toronto, cold and cloudy with a high of only 37 and a low of 29. Kingston, partly sunny, high of 85, low of 76. Montego Bay, partly sunny, high of 84, low of 75. Ocho Rios, partly sunny, high of 83, low of 75. Negril, mostly sunny, high of 85, low of 76. Cayman Islands, mostly sunny, high of 86, low of 77. Bahamas, rain showers throughout the day with a high of 82 and a low of 77. Nigeria, sunny with a high of 95 and a low of 71. And Ghana, light rain showers with a high of 89 and a low of 78. All right, on to our sports. In the NFL, we had quite a few games yesterday. So here are the scores as follows. It was the Texans over the Chiefs, 20-10. The Rams over the Cardinals, 45-17. The Packers over the Bears, 28-21. The Broncos over the Raiders, 24-17. The Titans over the Bears, 31-29. The Steelers over the Ravens, 27-22. The Bills over the Bengals, 39-34. The Seahawks over the Falcons, 37-9. And the wipeout game of the day was the Vikings over the Commanders, 31-0. We also had the Dolphins over the Jets, 34-10. The Saints over the Buccaneers, 24-20. And the Jaguars over the Colts, 36-19. And tonight in Monday Night Football, we have the Eagles versus the Chargers. They will be playing at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time on ABC and ESPN. And the Panthers, the Patriots, the Giants, and the 49ers all have a bye week. In the NBA, we had a few games as well. There was the Knicks over the Magic, 106-100. The Celtics over the Raptors, 121-113. The Nuggets over the Hornets, 115-106. The Grizzlies over the Trailblazers, 119-96. The Warriors over the Bulls, 123-91. The Lakers over the 76ers, 112-108. And the Thunder over the Jazz, 131-101. And in the NBA tonight, we have the Kings versus the Pacers at 7, the Suns versus the Timberwolves at 7:30, and the Spurs versus the Pelicans at 8, all Eastern Standard Time. And check your local listings for channels. Good morning, Ray. All right, on to our daily feature today, which is Motivational Monday. My segment today is titled, You Are Not Alone. Today's Motivational Monday is for anyone carrying heavy burdens, whether it's trauma, depression, or loneliness. This message is a reminder you are not broken, you are not alone, and your story still is unfolding. So, trauma, it makes you feel like your scars define you, but scars are proof of survival. They show that you have endured, that they can become symbols of strength. For depression, it whispers that nothing will change, but even the smallest step, a walk outside, a call to a friend, or even just taking a deep breath can be a victory. Progress is not measured in leaps, but it is steady in steps. Loneliness, it convinces you that you've been forgotten, but connection often begins with vulnerability. Reaching out, even in small ways, can open doors to community and healing. So, resilience is built in silence. Even when no one sees your struggle, every day you keep going is proof of your strength. Healing is not linear. There are setbacks, but setbacks are not failures. They are part of their journey. And hope is contagious. Sharing your story, even in fragments, can inspire someone to keep fighting. So if you're listening today and you feel weighed down, remember this. Your pain is real, but so is your power. You are worthy of love, worthy of healing, and worthy of joy. Let's carry that truth into this week, because even in the darkest nights, the dawn always brings morning. And that is so true, especially with it being the holiday season. We get a lot of people, even in a little of each one of us feels a little down or depressed, or, you know, thinking of past things and or missing someone that um, they're no longer able to be around. So just know that it might be seem dark right now, but you just got to keep going, keep fighting. All right, on to our book club, where we are still reading the 18 laws of nature. And today's law is the law of envy. Today's book club dives into Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature, and we're spotlighting the law of envy. Greene reminds us that envy is one of the most hidden yet powerful emotions shaping human behavior. Envy often disguises itself as criticism, passive aggression, or subtle resistance. Greene explains that people rarely admit envy, but it can drive sabotage, rivalry, and resentment. Recognizing envy in ourselves and in others is key to navigating relationships clearly. In business, spot envy in the workplace. Colleagues who downplay your success or resist collaboration are usually the ones that are holding in envy. Instead of reacting definitively, redirect their energy by including them in wins or giving credit generously. And in life, when you feel envy, flip it to admiration. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this person's success? Turning envy into inspiration transforms competition into growth. The law of envy teaches us that hidden emotions shape visible actions. By recognizing envy and transforming it into admiration, we protect our own peace and fuel our progress. But today's book club insight, but that's today's book club insight, because wisdom isn't just for reading, it's for living. All right, on to our cause of the day. This cause, I actually came across last week, but it was Friday. So, of course, I had already done the show. And it bothered me because of the show I was doing later on that evening. So I heard of this network, which is called the 764 Network. And I'm not sure if many people know about it, or if they do. It's new to me. So I just wanted to be able to share it with everyone today so that we're all aware. The 764 Network is a decentralized extremist and child exploitation group that emerged online around 2020 to 2021. It is considered by the FBI and DOJ a terrorist network that engages in sextortation, violent coercion, and radicalization of minors. Authorities describe it as one of the most dangerous online movements targeting children worldwide. So what is it? It was founded in the late 2020 by Bradley Cottonheed, a 15-year-old from Stevensville, Texas. He named it after the 3 digits of his zip code. The roots grew out of a smaller group called Greggy's Cult, which was active on Discord and gaming platforms. Members of that cult became prominent in 764. The platforms they operate mainly on was Discord, Telegram, Roblox, and Minecraft, using these spaces to recruit and groom victims. So targeting minors, victims are often 9 to 17 years old, especially from marginalized backgrounds or with mental health challenges. And their methods were grooming through gaming chats, coercion into self-harm, sexual abuse, and violent acts, blackmailing using recorded sessions to force further compliance. The extremist propaganda. Members desensitize victims with neo-Nazi, satanic, and violent extremist content, sometimes pushing them toward mass violence. Digital lore books, collections of violent or abusive content traded within the network as status currency. So the law enforcement's response to this, it was classified again as a terrorist group by the US DOJ and a tier 1 investigative priority by the FBI. So as far as arrests, multiple leaders and members have been indicted across the United States and internationally. For example, in this past April, 2 leaders of a subgroup called 764 Inferno were arrested in Greece and North Carolina. And this month, DOJ charged 5 men linked to Greggy's Cult, the precursor of 764. So FBI reports over 300 active cases are tied to 764 in the US, with a sharp rise in arrests for violent extremism. So why does this matter today? It's modern day terrorism. The FBI describes 764 as modern day terrorism because of its sadistic online campaigns against teenagers. And the parental warning, authorities urge parents to monitor children's online activity. I can't stress that enough, especially on gaming platforms, and watch the signs like secrecy, self-harm, or sudden violence towards pets. The global threat, the network is centralized internationally and continues to evolve despite all these arrests that have been made. The 764 network is proof that terrorism doesn't just happen in the streets. It can happen in our own kids' bedroom through a screen. Awareness is protection. So talk to your children, check in with them, and remember, vigilance is love. It might be hard love, but it's love in action nonetheless. So keep those lines of communication with your children open. And yes, monitor where they are online. TikTok too. Know who their friends are, know who they're chatting with online. All right, on to today in history. December 8th. First up, we have John Lennon's was assassinated in 1980 on this day. Outside his New York apartment, Lennon was shot, shocking the world. His death marked an end of an era for the Beatles and fueled global conversations about gun violence. Next, we have Lincoln's proclamation. President Abraham Lincoln offered pardons to Confederates who swore alliance, laying the groundwork for Reconstruction. And in 1901, the first Nobel Prizes were awarded to Wilhelm Röntgen, received the Physics Prize for discovering X-rays, while Jean-Henri Dijon and Frédéric Passy both shared the Peace Prize. In African American history today, first up we have in 1850, Lucy Ann Stanton graduates. Stanton became the first African American woman to graduate from college, earning her degree from Oberlin College. In 1967, Robert Henry Lawrence Jr., the first African American selected as an astronaut in the U.S. Air Force program. Lawrence tragically died in a plane crash on this day. And Sammy Davis Jr. was born today in 1925. Legendary entertainer, singer, and actor Sammy Davis Jr. was born, later breaking barriers in Hollywood and Broadway. On to our African American scientists and inventors. First up, we have Dorothy Vaughan, NASA mathematician and human computer, who became the agency's first Black female supervisor. She later mastered Fortran programming and contributed to satellite launches. Next, we have Mark Dean, computer engineer at IBM, who co-created the ISA bus, allowing computers to connect to printers and monitors. He holds more than 20 patents. And last, we have Virgie Ammons, inventor who patented a fireplace throat damper in 1974, improving home heating efficiency. All right, on to our Back to Roots segment. Love y'all too. Today we spotlight spirituality. Excuse me, y'all. We begin this week with Back to Roots, exploring African spirituality, the heartbeat of ancestral wisdom. African traditions like Yoruba, Akan, and Igbo honored a supreme creator, reverend ancestors, and saw nature as sacred. These beliefs crossed the Atlantic during slavery, often suppressed, but preserved through oral traditions and rituals. Spirituality became a survival tool. The Black church emerged as a hub for worship, organizing, and civil rights leadership. The functions are the practices like call and response, ring shouts, and ancestral reference offered comfort and solidarity. So the modern influence of African spirituality is African-derived religions like Voodoo, Santeria, and Kamandale thrive today. African-American churches remain central to identity, activism, and resilience. So today, spirituality anchors identity, justice, and resilience, reminding us of ancestral strength. So spirituality is more than ritual. It's just a reminder that our ancestors walk with us, guiding resilience and justice. So Back to Roots segment teaches us that balance, reverence, and connection remains timeless. And plus, we learn about our heritage. All right, on to fact or fiction. Today's spotlight is a conspiracy theory. the conspiracy theory of the January 6th pipe bomb case. The pipe bombs were discovered outside the Democratic and Republican National Committee headquarters on January 6, 2021. For years, conspiracy theorists claimed that it was an inside job staged by government actors. But the facts are, after nearly 5 years, the FBI identified Brian Cole Jr. as the suspect this month, charging him with the use of explosive devices. This case shows that conspiracy theories thrive when investigations take years, feeding mistrust. So, fact or fiction? The pipe bomb case reminds us that delay fuels conspiracy, but facts eventually surface. So at least somebody got charged on January 6th for something. All right, onto the what's the word? This what's the word segment today I saw yesterday on TikTok, and it made me feel some kind of way because I usually don't discuss, like, I don't go deep into politics or religion. But I felt this subject in this post yesterday wasn't given its fair, I don't want to say fair shake, but it wasn't looked at, positively in my eyes. So I don't know if anybody saw this, but did you see the guy? His name is Ibu Noah, or also known as Ibu Enoch. He's a Ghanaian man who has gone viral for claiming he was divinely instructed to build a modern day ark in preparation for a catastrophic flood he says will occur on Christmas Day this year. His story has sparked widespread debate, curiosity, and skepticism across social media. So Ibu Noah first gained attention in Ghana and internationally when he announced that God gave him a mission similar to the biblical Noah, to build an ark and gather animals in preparation for a global flood. He claims the prophecy is literal, not symbolic, and insists that the flood will strike on Christmas Day. So the ark construction, Ibu has been documenting the ark's construction on social media. So as of August of this year, he reported the ark was 80% complete already, built with timber in Kumasi. Videos show animals like hens, a cat, and a pig roaming near the unfinished structure, which he interprets as the beginning of the animals boarding the ark. So addressing criticism, critics point to the biblical covenant where God promised never to destroy the earth with floods again, symbolized by the rainbow. Ibu responded that God can change his mind, citing the biblical story of King Hezekiah, whose life was extended after prayer. So the social media's reactions, his prophecy has gone viral, sparking memes, debates, and skepticism. Some see him as a modern prophet, while others dismiss the claim as attention-seeking or symbolic performance art. The story has become a trending topic in Ghana and beyond, blending religion, culture, and internet virability. So Ibu's story highlights how religious prophecy, cultural storytelling, and social media intersect in modern society. It raises questions about faith, skepticism, and the power of viral narrative to shape public discourse. So whether you believe Ibu Noah's prophecy or not, his story shows how ancient narratives can resurface in modern times, reshaped by culture, faith, and power of social media. And come December 25th, the world will be watching to see if his ark sails or sinks. Now, I bring this to it on the show because, in my personal opinion, regardless of what his beliefs are, and him saying that God told him to build this ark, he did have one thing right, though. God can change his mind. If I learned nothing from yesterday's message on church yesterday, if God can give you more than one chance, what makes you think he can't change his mind? So the skepticism that he's been getting is being called many different names, and that, this isn't real and things like that. Regardless if it's real to you, it's real to him. Let him have his faith. Period. All right, on to our tip of the day. Our tech tip of the day is geomagnetic storm preparedness. On today, space weather agencies forecasted a moderate geomagnetic storm due to solar activity. Such storms can disrupt satellites, GPS, and power grids, and even affect human health, headaches with, for example, headaches or sleep disruption. So advice is to stay prepared by keeping devices charged, backing up your data, and avoid relying on GPS during peak storm hours. So why this matters is understanding space weather helps protect both infrastructure and personal tech use. So anytime there's a storm, I'll always make sure all my stuff is charged up. All right, on to our finance tip of the day, which is portfolio rebalancing before year end. As of 2025 winds down, experts stress the importance of rebalancing your portfolio. This means trimming assets that have surged, like AI-driven tech stocks, and reallocating into undervalued sectors or safer bonds. So helpful tools to do this would be using Morningstar Portfolio Manager to analyze allocations, or Fidelity and Vanguard offer free rebalancing calendars. Rebalancing reduces risks, locks in your gains, and positions portfolios for stability in 2026. Everybody want to have their money where it's supposed to be, starting off the new year. All right, on to our fun fact of the day. Today, Beethoven's Seventh Symphony premiered. In 1813, Ludwig van Beethoven premiered his Seventh Symphony in Vienna. Known for its lovely rhythms, the symphony was celebrated as one of Beethoven's most optimistic works, composed during the time of war in Europe. Richard Wagner later called the second movement the Apicius of the dance. This premiere shows how music can uplift societies even in the time of conflict, and why Beethoven's work remains timeless. That is a lovely, lovely piece. All right, on to our fun holiday of the day. Today is Pretend to be a Time Traveler Day. Created by internet communities in the mid-2000s, this quirky holiday encourages people to act as if they arrived from past or the future, which some people already do that anyway. It is a playful way to spark imagination, creativity, and humor in everyday life. Time travel has fascinated cultures for centuries, from A.G. Wells's The Time Machine to modern science fiction films. Celebrating this day highlights how storytelling shapes our understanding of science and the possibility. So a fun tip to do today is dress in vintage or futuristic attire and narrate your traveler's observations about today's world. All right, our daily quote, our quote of the day is, and I quote, "Hold fast to dreams, for your dreams die. Life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly," end quote, by Langston Hughes. Hughes, a leading voice in the Harlem Renaissance, used poetry to inspire resilience and pride. This quote reminds us that dreams fuel progress, and without them, life loses direction. All right, on to our music and entertainment. Today, Rihanna's Auntie makes Billboard history. Rihanna's 2016 album, Auntie, became the first album by a Black female artist to spend 500 weeks on the Billboard 200. This milestone highlights the longevity of Black women in music and how cultural impact can outlast trends. From Barbados to Billboard history, Rihanna proves timeless artistry never fades. All right. And in celebrity gossip, Ryan Destiny and Keith Powers' engagement. Actors Ryan Destiny and Keith Powers announced their engagement in October after rekindling their relationship back in late 2024. Their journey shows how celebrity relationships often mirror real life's ups and downs, reminding audiences that love stories can evolve over time. All right, on to our celebrity birthdays. Today, who has a birthday? Nicki Minaj is her birthday today. Dwight Howard, David Harewood, Chrisette Michelle, Wendell Pierce, and two of our entertainment icons, rest in heaven, Flip Wilson and Sammy Davis Jr. Happy birthday to all. Lifestyle segment. On to our lifestyle segment. Our soul food recipe today is smothered pork chops with onion gravy. And our beverage of the day is cranberry ginger sparkler. Our men's health tip today is schedule prostate screenings. Early detection saves lives, gentlemen. You still have a few weeks left so you can schedule those end of the year screenings and doctor's appointments just to get yourself checked out. Make sure everything's going good. Okay, gentlemen, we shouldn't have to drag you by the ear to make you go. Just schedule those appointments. Women's health. Add calcium-rich foods to protect bone health as estrogen levels shift with age. Ain't that the truth? Whew. All right, and in relationship tips of the day for couples, share one thing you appreciate about your partner daily. In friendships, send a quick thinking of you message to reconnect. In family, start a gratitude jar. Each member adds a note weekly. Our household chore of the day is deep clean kitchen appliances before you start your holiday cooking. All right, on to our daily horoscopes. As we always start with Aries. Energy favors bold moves. Trust instincts at work. Your lucky numbers today are 3, 11, and 29. Taurus. Stability brings comfort. Focus on home projects. Lucky numbers are 6, 15, and 27. Gemini. Communication shines. Great for presentations. Your lucky numbers today are 5, 17, and 26. Cancer. Family bonds deepen. Share stories. Your lucky numbers today are 4, 19, and 27. Leo. Leadership shines. Take initiative. Your lucky numbers today are 1, 12, and 28. Virgo. Organization pays off. Declutter spaces. Your lucky numbers today are 2, 13, and 24. Libra. Harmony in relationships. Seek compromise. Your lucky numbers today are 3, 14, and 25. Scorpio. Intuition strong. Trust your gut. Lucky numbers today are 6, 15, and 27. Sagittarius. Adventure calls. Explore new ideas. Your lucky numbers today are 1, 12, and 28. Capricorn. Discipline pays. Stick to routines. Lucky numbers today are 5, 17, and 27. And Aquarius. Innovation sparks. Share your ideas. Lucky numbers today are 7, 15, and 29. And Pisces. Compassion flows. help others. Your lucky numbers today are 4, 19, and 27. All right, on tomorrow's show, which will be Tell Me Something Good Tuesday. We will always have stories that uplift the community. Plus, viral social media mystery will be decoded. So don't miss tomorrow's dose of good news and good vibes. Now's the time I would like to thank our sponsors. Shout out to Bello Burn Hot Sauce. Turn up the flavor, feel the burn. Bello Burn brings heat to every bite. RSA Herbals, rooted in tradition, powered by nature. RAS Herbals keeps wellness pure and strong. Colorane Candles, light the moment, lift the mood. Colorane Candles glow with soul. And also, Universal Madness, style without limits. Universal Madness makes the streets your runway. All right, on to our announcements. Lux Radio is having a Christmas concert on December 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Lux Radio. Please watch out for all information, flyers, videos, and everything regarding this concert. And it's free. You just have to go to luxradio.com. All right, y'all, that's your Monday Kickstart. Remember, habits can fix everything, but it sure makes, I'm sorry, a really bad headache, and it's like, as I was saying, remember, habits can't fix everything, but it sure can make you careless. So until tomorrow, family, hopefully I'm feeling better. This is your girl, Mell B, saying stay fly, stay grounded, and don't let nobody steal your shine. Period.